Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the channel, and if you're new here, a warm welcome to the community. Today, we have something incredibly exciting planned for you, so make yourself comfortable, grab a snack, and enjoy the experience. We're going to explore the Adventure of Kintu, Uganda, Ganda mythology, and believe me, you'll want to stay till the end. As always, if you enjoy engaging stories and fresh content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss what's coming up next. Now, sit back, unwind, and let's get started.
The Adventure of Kintu, Uganda Ganda mythology. The solitary traveler. Long before the hills were given names and the rivers discovered their melodies, the land of Baganda lay in wild and mute serenity, until he arrived. Kintu. He was not born in the ordinary way, nor nurtured by family. He simply existed. A towering presence with skin kissed by the sun and eyes that sparkled like the river Nile under the night sky. Kintu roamed the terrain alone, accompanied only by his cherished cow, a creature with a coat of white, whose milk was as sweet as honey, and whose tranquil presence kept Kintu grounded. Each dawn, Kintu and his cow ventured further into the wilderness, guided by nature's whispers, attuning themselves to the rustling banana leaves and the melodies of weaver birds hovering above. He quenched his thirst in the crystal-clear streams and rested beneath fig trees, dreaming of stars he could not name. Yet, a sense of solitude shadowed him. The arrival of Nambi. One day, as the mist danced above the earth, the sky split apart. A radiant stairway of light descended, bringing with it a luminous woman, Nambi, daughter of Gulu, the deity of the heavens. She and her siblings had come down to explore the land. Kintu was struck by her beauty. Her voice resembled the call of the crested crane. Nambi was inquisitive, bold, and compassionate. Upon seeing Kintu, a feeling stirred within her, a connection more ancient than the earth itself. The siblings returned to the heavens, but Nambi stayed behind. "I wish to remain," she murmured, gazing into Kintu's eyes. "With you." However, the gods rarely relinquish their children so willingly. Gulu's trials. In order to wed a daughter of the heavens, Kintu had to demonstrate his worth. Nambi guided him up to the sky via the luminous staircase. There Gulu, majestic, imposing, and wrapped in sparks, confronted him. "You wish to take my daughter to earth?" he boomed. "Then succeed in my trials." Kintu encountered challenges that tested human endurance. Collecting dew from banana leaves without losing a single drop, enduring a fiery pit, and overcoming a serpent whose gaze disintegrated flesh to dust. Using his cleverness, strength, and the steadfastness of his cow, Kintu triumphed over them all. Gulu, impressed, bestowed his blessing. Yet he cautioned, "Depart quickly and do not return. Beware of Walumbe, your brother-in-law. He brings only death." The descent to earth. With Nambi beside him and gifts from the heavens, banana seedlings, millet, beans, and chickens, Kintu made his way back to earth. They cultivated, constructed, and molded the land. Baganda began to flourish. However, Kintu overlooked one detail. Nambi had forgotten her chicken feed. Ignoring the warning, they to the heavens briefly. On their return journey, they encountered Walumbe, the harbinger of death. He pursued them, hidden, silent, until it was too late. Walumbe's curse. In the beginning, all was well. Kintu and Nambi welcomed numerous children, and the land prospered. But soon, Walumbe revealed his presence. One by one, the children fell ill and died. Kintu implored Gulu to reclaim Walumbe, but the heavens could no longer confine him. Walumbe had experienced earth, and death took root. In desperation, Kintu began to burrow into the earth, striving to entrap Walumbe below. Day after day he dug, deeper and deeper. Yet Walumbe slipped away into the depths, and death lingered among humanity. The mystery of the drum. One night, Kintu experienced a dream about a drum that could talk, hidden deep within the Mubend forest. It was rumored that this drum could communicate with spirits and revive the earth's memory. Following the guidance of fireflies and the unseen rhythms of drums, he ventured into the forest alone. There, nestled within a hollow baobab tree, he discovered it. A drum adorned with ancient glyphs, warm to his touch, and beating like a heart. When he struck it, the forest trembled. The spirits awakened, and a voice murmured, "There is still a way." The call of the ancestors. The drum summoned the spirits of ancestors, entities formed of starlight and ash. They encircled Kintu and presented him with a choice. To end Walumbe's dominion, you must journey beyond the familiar lands, confront the forgotten gods, and trigger the ancient pact that connected life and death prior to time. Motivated by love for his community, Kintu agreed. Thus, with the sacred drums slung over his shoulder and fire ignited in his heart, Kintu departed from Baganda to explore the ancient traditions, traverse the concealed paths, and confront the everlasting curse. His adventure was only just beginning. The path of smoke and wind. Kintu traveled far beyond the banana fields and valleys of Baganda, following the sacred drum's rhythm. The trees became sparse, the soil darkened, and a swirling path of smoke and whispering winds brought him to the edge of the forgotten, a place lost to even remembrance. Here time felt fluid. The sun remained stationary. The air shimmered like the heat above flames. Shadows shifted with the breeze. Then he encountered the gate. Carved from obsidian rock, there was a massive doorway inscribed with symbols older than the stars. The forgotten gods awaited. The first forgotten god, Nkienkiam, the spirit of change. The gate swung open, and the first being to greet him was Nkienkiam, a spirit with a serpent body and 1,000 constantly changing faces, each narrating a unique tale. Nkienkiam, the deity of transformation, danced around Kintu, shedding forms like leaves falling from trees. You aim to challenge Walumbe, the spirit hissed. But to confront death, you must first embrace change. Nkienkiam required a test of memory. Kintu had to revisit every moment of grief, each child he had laid to rest, each cry he had stifled. Yet instead of succumbing, he emerged even more resilient. You remember. And still you move forward, Nkienkiam breathed. You may proceed. The second forgotten deity, Gwana, the masked one. As Kintu ventured deeper into the lost realm, he encountered Gwana, the deity of secrets and masks. Adorned with numerous shifting wooden masks, Gwana stood beneath a sky of darkness and flames. Do you truly know yourself, Kintu, without a tribe? Gwana inquired. Remove my mask and confront your greatest fear. Kintu removed Gwana's masks one by one. With each mask he lifted, he confronted his doubts, guilt, the fear of failure, and ultimately, his most profound fear, becoming like Walumbe. However, instead of retreating, Kintu donned the last mask and declared, I embody every choice I have made. Gwana bowed and disappeared. The third forgotten deity, Mazana, the Flame Mother. Finally, he encountered the last deity, Mazana, the Flame Mother. She stood on a lake of molten rock, her form composed of liquid gold and flames. She remained silent, only providing a challenge. The challenge? To traverse the flames while carrying the sacred drum. Kintu crossed the blazing lake, each step scorching his feet, the drum burning into his back. Yet with each strike of the drum, the flames receded. He sang as he progressed, recalling Nambi's laughter and the happiness of his children. Mazana observed and smiled. From her fire, she bestowed upon him a spark, the flame of the ancestors. You are prepared. The gathering storm. Kintu emerged from the realm of the forgotten deities transformed. The drum now resonated with multiple voices. The flame of the ancestors flickered within him. The route back home shifted from forest to storm. Dark clouds began to gather. Walumbe sensed the change. Death was aware it was being challenged. As Kintu descended into the mortal realm anew, thunder rumbled and specters, the shades of Walumbe, awaited him, clawed and silent, obstructing his way back. Kintu tightened his grip on the drum and murmured, Let them approach. The whispering field. Upon stepping down from the spirit realm, Kintu found himself in a barren field, neither earth nor sky. A realm woven from forgotten names and lingering sadness. The air remained still. The grass was gray and lifeless. Then the whispers emerged. The shades of Walumbe arose from the mist, half shadow, half bone, their eyes resembling dying stars. Each had once been a soul taken by Walumbe, distorted by sorrow and silence. They flowed like the wind, but struck with the force of thunder. Their mission? Prevent Kintu from returning to Baganda. However, Kintu struck the sacred drum, and the rhythm called forth memories, songs of birth, laughter, and love. The shades faltered. They remembered life. The drumbeat of defiance. The drumbeat intensified deeper, resonating like the heartbeats of countless ancestors. Kintu advanced, each beat forcing the shades back. Yet Walumbe's power was ancient and merciless. The shades let out a shriek, merging into a single terrifying entity, the Maw of Silence, a colossal shadow being with a mouth that devoured sound, light and spirit. It lunged forward. Kintu, heart ablaze with the flame of the ancestors, struck the drum once again. The sound did not reverberate. It sliced through the air like a spear. A ray of ancestral light pierced through the maw. Still, it remained standing. It laughed and charged. The fire within. Kintu dropped to one knee, the burden of the shades weighing heavily on his spirit. The sacred drum fractured. His sight grew fuzzy. But then he caught Nambi's voice riding the wind, and the laughter of his children rang out from the stars. He recalled the reason he fought, not merely for his own kin, but for all who dreaded the silence of death. He reached into his chest and touched the flame of the ancestors. It surged outward, enveloping him, the drum, and the entire field. His entire existence transformed into a blaze of remembrance, resistance, and love. The maw howled and started to vanish. The path reopens. As the flames dissipated, the whispering field changed. Where death had once dwelled, wildflowers now bloomed. The sky brightened to a vibrant blue. The path leading home sparkled before him, golden and expansive. Yet Kintu did not smile. He was aware that Walumbe still lingered, in the seams of time, in the pauses between heartbeats. This triumph was not the conclusion. He picked up the sacred drum, now mended and glowing with fresh cymbals. A new rhythm throbbed in his bloodstream. A fresh adventure awaited. He moved forward, toward Baganda, toward his fate, toward the ultimate showdown. The journey was far from over. The return of death's whisper. As Kintu re-entered Baganda, it was not the same land he had departed. The skies had turned a sickly gray. Rivers meandered sluggishly, crops rotted, and mothers hummed old lullabies to children too frightened to sleep. The shadow of Walumbe, once concealed, had now become a storm sweeping across the land. In the villages, people perceived silhouettes lurking at their doorsteps. The ill-spoken voices that were not their own. Forests had fallen silent. Kintu strode through all of it, his drum quiet for the moment, his gaze unwavering. He understood this was the lull before the ultimate tempest. The rise of Walumbe. Deep beneath the hills of Tanda, deep within the tunnels Kintu had once excavated, Walumbe began to awaken. His form had transcended mere shadow. It now had substance. A twisted amalgamation of horn, bone, and ash. His voice was a silent thunder, his breath chilling enough to extinguish flames. He rallied his gathering of night spirits, souls that had long ago surrendered to sorrow. With every passing moon his power intensified. He had learned of Kintu's return. "Let him come," Walumbe snarled, dark vines coiling from his fingers. "Let him remember. I was always the conclusion, the gathering of the last guardians." Kintu realized he could not confront Walumbe alone. He returned to the forest of the talking trees, where ancient beings murmur between bark and branch. There he called upon the guardians of old, spirits of earth, sky, and time. From the mountain emerged Mwanga, spirit of stone and storm. From the lake arose Nafulu, the river queen with skin like flowing water. And from the wind twirled Tendo, the winged warrior whose feathers glisten with moonlight. Together, they stood with Kintu at the circle of stones. "The time for endings has begun," he declared. The forge of memory. To challenge Walumbe, Kintu required more than just allies. He needed a weapon crafted from memory. Within the ancient forge concealed beneath the Nano Hills, he melted down the fractured drum, reshaping it with the flame of the ancestors. Each strike resonated with the voices of the past. Children's laughter, cries of battle, wedding songs, and war chants. He created a blade not forged from steel, but from song and memory, its edge radiating with truth, its hilt adorned with ancestral bark. As he lifted it, the sky rumbled. The final battle was approaching. The calm before the tempest, the guardians were prepared. Kintu's weapon resonated with past echoes. The land was still. From the east, the skyline darkened as Walumbe's troops approached. An unending multitude of spirits, creatures, and distorted memories. The air buzzed with the sounds of bones and grief. Kintu looked at his comrades. This is more than a fight for survival. It's a struggle for memory, for significance, for the right to live free from fear. He placed his hand on the soil. The earth responded. Drums echoed in the distance, not just his, but from every hamlet, every tree, every heart. The ultimate battle had commenced. The collision of realms. The heavens erupted with flames and wind. From the east, Walumbe's legions surged over the fields, howling shadows, bone beasts, dust serpents, and night spirits slinking like fog. The ground itself laments under their presence. From the west, Kintu led the defenders, the guardians of old by his side. Warriors of the earth awakened, and every soul that continued to believe in life. The initial strike was not with weapons, but with sound. Drums roared from high ground. Kintu lifted his blade of memory. The rhythm of ancestors clashed with death's wail. And war commenced. The downfall of guardians. Tendo, the winged hero, flew into the storm's core, cleaving through spirits with feathers like moonlight. Nafulu, the queen of rivers, submerged shadow serpents beneath waves of ancestral waters. Mwenga, the giant of mountains, stomped thunder into the ground, breaking bones and silence alike. But Walumbe, cloaked in decay and fury, entered the battlefield. With a single breath, he turned Nafulu into mist. With a single word, he muted Tendo's wings. With a roar, he shattered Mwenga's stone heart. Only Kintu remained. Your gods perish, Walumbe mocked. What will you build in their absence? Kintu murmured, memory. The combat of spirits. Kintu was the first to strike, his blade of memory cutting through the veil of death. Light poured from the gash, and for a brief moment Walumbe screamed, not from agony, but from acknowledgement. You remember me, don't you? Kintu inquired. Before the darkness. Before you opted for death instead of life. Walumbe bellowed, calling forth all the sorrow he had ever collected. Souls howled. The battleground trembled. Kintu was thrown into the spirit realm. His physical form on the field, yet his spirit now ensnared in Walumbe's memory prison. But within that prison, he fathomed the truth. Walumbe was once akin to him. A brother. A seeker. Distorted by despair, overtaken by loss. I don't fight to annihilate you, Kintu stated. I fight to remind you. The rhythm of rebirth, Kintu began to chant. A song more ancient than death. A melody of harvest, of birth, of names spoken into the dawn. As he sang, his spirit returned to his body, and the sacred drum ascended from the earth, hovering above the battlefield. It throbbed once, then it began to pulse. The sound fractured the stillness across all realms. Spirits halted. Warriors paused. Even the shadows of Walumbe quivered. The flame of the ancestors reignited. From every tree, child, elder, and stone, memories stirred. The shadows retreated. Walumbe let out a cry and disintegrated into a tempest of ash and wind. His legion vanished. Kintu stood beneath the rising sun. A new dawn in Baganda. Baganda came alive once more. The skies brightened. Rivers rejoiced. Trees swayed. The people emerged from their silence, each now carrying a fragment of the memory that rescued the world. Children were named after the fallen guardians. Ballads were composed about Kintu's defiance. Drums were fashioned with symbols of renewal. Kintu did not assume the throne. He evolved into something greater. A protector of harmony, traversing the land, his footsteps awakening roots and breezes. And although Walumbe was erased, the people never forgot. For to forget, Kintu imparted his true demise. The end.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you found this video helpful and enjoyable, please remember to hit the like button as it really supports the channel. Also, if you're new or haven't already, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications. Until next time, take care and keep exploring.